Here you go. So thank you for joining today's webinar, our information session for export. Before we begin, just quickly a bit of housekeeping. If you can please stay on mute and stop your video during the presentation. But if you have any questions, please unmute yourself or use the chat function. And if you have any technical difficulties, just let us know using the chat function, or send myself, Paige, or Celine a text and we'll try to assist. This webinar will be recorded on our YouTube channel and will be made available on our website. So today you'll hear from myself. I'll just show a few numbers and go through some of the issues we experienced throughout the last export season. And I'll also provide some of the key dates for the upcoming season. We'll then hear from Jeff Scott, CEO of Australian Table Grape Association. So Jeff will run us through some of the upgrades that have been done on the online registration system. And then we'll hear from Tanya Brogden from the Department of Agriculture, Water and the Environment. So just a refresher on mango's protocol markets. So for Japan, you actually don't need to register your orchard or your pack house, and you don't need to monitor your orchards. You just need to send your fruit to a registered vapor heat treatment facility. However, for Korea and China, you'll need to have your orchard and your packing sheds registered through our online registration platform. And you'll need to have an accredited crop monitor surveying your orchard from bud burst fortnightly or weekly if you're using the systems approach for China. And then you'll need to send your fruit to a vapor heat treatment facility and demonstrate freedom from mango seed weevil. For the US, you'll also need to register your orchard and pack house, and you'll need a crop monitor to survey your crop as well from bud burst. And then you'll need to send your fruit to Steritake for irradiation. For New Zealand, you don't need to register your orchard or packing shed, and you don't need anyone to survey your orchard. You just need to send your fruit to Steritake. Now, a few numbers from the past two seasons. So in terms of volume, a bit more than 4,000 tonnes were exported last season, which is pretty similar to the previous season. And value and unit price pretty similar. But then if you compare the past two seasons with the last 10 years, you can see there that's quite a reduced exported volumes. And that can be explained by, I guess, two factors. One is obviously COVID-19 and the issues we had with logistics and the increased cost of air freight, but also a smaller overall production. And you can see that obviously unit price has gone up as well. Now, if we look at some of our key markets in details and compare the last three seasons, you can see that we've had record volumes exported to New Zealand last year, so pre-COVID-19 levels, which is fantastic. And now New Zealand accounted last year 33% of the total export volume. you can see that South Korea, China, and the US are really growing markets, and the three of them are also above COVID-19 levels. So really key markets for us to focus on. Singapore, Hong Kong have reduced dramatically. Obviously, Hong Kong, that obviously can be explained by the closure of the Great Channel. But really positive to see that despite COVID-19 challenges, the key markets, South Korea, China, and the US are really growing markets. And the industry really wants to say thank you to all the exporters who sent fruit to existing customers, despite some of the hurdles that they've experienced. Some of the issues we experienced last season. So Korea rejected a few consignments last season due to MRL breach, and that was due to dimethoate breach. So Korea doesn't have a nationally set MRL for dimethoate, which means that they apply a 0.01 milligram per kilogram for dimethoate. And obviously, there might be some issues with dimethoate contamination for exporters who are also sending fruit interstate to South Australia, Tasmania, and WA, and who are using CTM01. So I just wanted to, I guess, if you are sending fruit to these interstate market, it might be worth considering irradiation, ICA 55, just to avoid that dimethoate contamination because you're using the same packing line. So that might be an option for you to consider. And if you need, I'm happy to put you in touch with Teratech. Regarding crop monitor records, we're not sure, but Korea might again require crop monitoring records for this season. So please make sure that your crop monitoring records match your block number and what's on your accreditation. And if you have any questions, let me know. Regarding China, so China didn't publish the list of accredited entities last season, and we're not sure whether that's going to take place for the upcoming season. It's pretty unlikely. So again, unfortunately, new exporters will probably not be able to send fruit to China. And for existing growers who are already sending fruit to China, you'll need to keep the same block numbers. And I guess a new Mango MRL app is being developed. We know how complex some of the export countries' MRL databases can be. So we are in the process of getting a new Mango MRL app developed, and we're hoping that it will be launched in the next couple of months, and we'll be presenting that at our roadshow. Now for the new upcoming season, so you can find all the information on our website, so industry.mangos.net.au. On our homepage, you'll find a banner, so you can just click on find out more, and you'll have all the information you need to register. So there'll be the link to the online registration platform. You'll have the template for your crop monitoring records, and all the key dates and other useful resources. So the key dates, so we're having our information session today, and obviously it will be made available on our YouTube channel. You'll need to register your orchard and pack houses for the relevant export markets by the 22nd of July 2022. And you'll also need to complete the crop monitor training. The link is available on our website, and your crop monitor needs to have completed and successfully passed the test before flowering starts. So for the territory, that needs to happen now. Regarding audits, for new or previously non-compliant businesses, you will have an audit pre-season, and that will take place in August or September 2022. You should hear from the department directly a week or 2 weeks prior. And then for businesses who were accredited and compliant last season, you will be audited during the season, and that will be confirmed obviously closer to the date. Regarding the online registration, so the link is on our website. If you have any issues, please get in touch with me. You need to register your orchard and pack house for China, Korea, and the USA, and that's needed every year. Your username is your email address, but because the system has gone through some upgrades, for security reason, you will need to reset your password when you first log in. So to do that, you'll need to type in your email address and then press the forgot password. You'll receive an email, and you'll just need to follow the prompt. And this is due by the 22nd of July. The cost is unchanged, and it's $220. And now I'll hand over to Jeff to go through the online registration platform.
Thanks, Maureen. I'll just share my screen, but I'll have to wait till you stop sharing.
Yep. Here you go, Jeff. You should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, can we all see that?
Yes.
All right, so as Maureen said, there's been a number of upgrades to our system this year. We've made it more secure, and we've also put in a lot of quality assurance checks throughout the system. So hopefully when you lodge your applications, it's all going to be correct and accurate. And as Maureen said, because of the new upgrades, everyone would have received by now a welcome back email if you were a previous registrations from last year, or if you are a new grower that you wish to commence exporting, you'll need to send your details to Maureen, and we'll set them up in the system, and you'll receive a welcome email with a password requirement. So when you do log on for the first time, as Maureen said, use your username and say forgot password. An email will be sent to your username email, and from there it'll show you how to reset the password, and then it'll bring you back to the login screen, which is this one, as you'll see here. So for the explanation purposes, I've set up a dummy grower, Zake Smith. It is in our test system, so this is not the actual real system, but basically it's exactly the same as what you'll see when you log in. So we'll just sign in. And when you sign in for 2022, it'll have this green box up there with your name on it. There'll be any information in the notice board if there. And you'll have this blue box here that says view your applicant registrations. So double click inside the blue box, and you'll have this important information up here, as Maureen spoke about, when the information session was on, when the registration's opened, which was a while ago, and then I'll have that closing date of July the 22nd there, 2022. You can view your past registrations by just clicking on this box here, which will bring up all of your previous registrations over the last 2-3 years. But more importantly for this year, you'll have pending creation of your registration. So when we click on inside that box, and this is one of the enhancements to the system where we've now rolled over all of your previous information to a point where basically you can start, it'll save you doing your maps and everything else like that. But there is definite information that you need to put into the system before you register it. Your grower details will be rolled over. Now, again, it's important to make sure that your ABN marries up with the applicant name. So in this case here, as you can see, I've got Zake Smith Proprietary Limited as trustee for the Smith Family Trust. If that's what your ABN says as your registration, that's what you need to have in your applicant name. So no longer can you just have Zach Smith or Zach Smith. Okay, so all the details will be rolled over, including the meeting point. Any additional contacts, if you've got more than one contact person, you can add another one and this box will be duplicated and you can just add in the details. First thing we need to do when you look at your export options, there are certain ticks here that are mandatory that in the system. So we've ticked to yes. That is for mangoes, that's for fruit. Then we've ticked orchard. If we untick that, then you lose the crop monitor and then you lose your maps. So that's been ticked as yes as a default, and so has the pack house, including third-party pack houses. Mainland's been ticked, which is where we are. And you then need to select your countries. In this case here, for this one, we've got China, Korea, and the USA, which will tick all of them. Crop monitor for the orchard, that has been rolled over from last year. So in this case, the crop monitor was Zake Smith. That's his email. And you also now look at your systems. Well, we've ticked systems approach as was rolled over from last year's your audit approach. Packhouse details have again been rolled over. If this is not correct, well, then you can just edit the packhouse details and so on if you have to have a change. Or you can add another packhouse. If you send your fruit to more than one packhouse, this box will be duplicated and you fill the details in. Now, what's important with the packhouse is this box here, third party. So third party means that if you are not sending your fruit to your own packhouse and you are using someone else's packhouse, you need to tick third party and you need to put in the details of that third party packhouse, which won't be your own. So if you're sending to somewhere else, you need to put in their packhouse number and their packhouse email and the manager's name and so on. If it is a registered establishment, now registered establishment means that they have registered separately with the Department of Agriculture and they'll get a 4-digit number. So you need to put that 4-digit number in there. So a registered establishment means that that premises is able to have fruit inspected by an authorised officer. Okay, so that's the 4-digit number, which is another registration. If it's not a third-party packhouse, don't tick this box. This is your own packhouse from your own orchard. As I mentioned, you can add another packhouse, which will just bring up the same details and you just complete them in. So we now come down to your maps, your property details. As you can see, this has been rolled over from last year. So again, I've just done a dummy one here. We've got the maps there. We've got the property name, the property address, and we've got the blocks and so on that's there. You'll notice that the fruit and the countries are missing. That's one thing that we haven't rolled over, because when we did this, when we set the system up 7 years ago for table grapes, we had this functionality there where we rolled over everything and the growers become very complacent and they just tick submit registration. But they've changed their varieties, they changed the size of their blocks and so on, and it caused an enormous amount of rework trying to correct it. So for this process, we've rolled it over only to show the property boundaries and the block boundaries. And again, you can just move it around with your mouse if you wish. But what you need to do now is click edit the map. And this is where the few changes have been. Now you'll notice that your blocks are in red. So anything that you see in red now means that there's some work that needs to be done, that you need to do additional information. Down the right-hand side of your registration now, you'll have the headings that were last year in blue up the top. They're now down the side, and whatever you need to be in will be highlighted by these 4 things, tabs. So right now we're in property boundary. So if I was to click inside the property boundary, it'll turn it white, and therefore I'm in edit mode and I can actually change the size of the boundary if I wish. You then need to click save. And you'll notice that I'm doing this deliberately because the system is telling me that I have an error. That's because I haven't finished doing this. So, and it's turned in red here. Anything that you see red again means that you need to do work on. So to get into these block boundaries, you need to click on where we are. And once again, you just click inside the block, it'll turn it white, and it'll then bring up the additional information that you need to put in. Drop down boxes, just need to click on your fruit, select your countries, and we'll just do this for demonstration purposes. Select the varieties of your fruit, and you can put in more than one variety or as many as you like. The number of trees are required, you need to type them in. Then you can save it. But again, we can't finish it because we have one other block to fix. So we can just click inside that again. Now you'll notice this block here that we've completed the information has now turned green and it's been numbered MO1, and there's a trap. So that's right to go. This one's not, and you can see it over here where it's red, you need to complete the required information. The block name is there, MO2. The department likes to have the naming of the blocks in sequential numbering. So we've got MO1, MO2, or if you've previously done from the US, it'll be, you need to put in the same as what you've done in previous years. Number of trees. And we can save. Now, if I was to save and close that now, you'll see that they've turned green and they've been numbered, but we still haven't finished it because we probably may need to put in some traps. And you just, if you want to add more traps, or if the traps are different to where you were last year, you can just click on that and you can just add it in there. If you click on that, yep, so it just adds in. All right, so you can add additional traps, and the pack house is already there from last year, so you can do that. Or if you've got a different place for the pack house, you can put in another pack house. Once you've, which will maybe put there, as I've done that. So that's just simply how we do that. We can then save and close. So if, and then you'll notice down here now that this has been populated with the information that you've put in. If you have another property that you want to add this year, you can just simply click on add property. And again, this is for any new growers, the same sort of situation. Put in the property name, details, and then you need to then add the property. I'll just remove that. So if you are happy with all the information that's there, including your meeting point, you can then click save and submit your registration. And this is the validation checks. Anything that's in amber is just a warning to say, okay, there might be something that you need to do which won't affect the registration, and that's your payment. But anything that's in green is right to go. Anything that's in red, if this comes up red, well, then you'll know that there is more work to be done. So in this case here, it's all done and completed because it's all green. You'll then have this payment section here, which will come up. This is through PayPal. The preferred method of payment is PayPal. You can just click pay now and the details will be there to put your credit card in. The system will then automatically accept that and then tick yes that you've paid. Once you've done that, you then have the signing declaration that the department requires you to do. You just need to type your name in and then agree and submit it. You'll see that this registration has been submitted, and then that's basically the submission of your application, which you can go through and check and make sure everything's right. So once you've done that, you can then, if you like, sorry, I can then sign out. And your registration has been completed. That will then go through to Mangoes. Mangoes will then do their side of it. They'll vet it and then submit it to the department. So, but you are required to do pest monitoring. So if I log back into that, you'll see that this now is back to this blue box. There's your past registrations. The blue box is now being turned to green, again, which means you've submitted your application. It's waiting for approval. But we now have pest monitoring diary and view registration correspondence. So if Mangoes wish to talk to you through Marine, or if the department is going to talk to you through the system, they'll be recorded here in the registration box. but also you can then view and look at your pest monitoring diary. And this is where it's also changed from last year. So you'll see this has come up now. Any correspondence is there. Your pest monitoring diary is there, plus additional documents. So if you, and this is what we tell all of our table grape growers, is to use the system as, if you like, a one-stop shop. So when in this additional documents, we get them to upload any documents that is related to exporting that's going to support your audit. Such as here, I would upload your work plans. I would upload your standard operating procedures. I would upload your training manuals for your seasonal workers. Any information that's in document form that's going to help and support your audit, load up into the system. Getting back to the pest monitoring diary, you can see we've got an entry or add a file entry. Last year, we just had upload your document. If you go out and monitor your pest monitoring and record that on a separate file, and it's on your computer, that's when you can add a file entry up to the system, and then it'll be uploaded. However, this year, we've added another additional feature, which I think is quite good. And that is you can add a pest monitoring diary. You need to name it. So we'll just call it May 2022. You can put in any comments that you want and then create your diary entry. So the enhancement is that we now can do pest monitoring diary in real time. So that means that you can walk around your farm. If you have a smartphone or a tablet, you can log on to the system on your smartphone and tablets, and we'll send you the link for that. And you can put in the inspection date, which is today, number of trees per block. You can put in, say, whatever that is, number of trees surveyed, do the same, or whatever number you have. And you'll notice here you've got requirements for all your pests of concern that are listed within the protocols. So you've got arthropods and you've got pathogens. So the USA and Korea and China and so on for each of these are all listed as per the work plan. You just need to fill in whatever you find with just numerical number. If you find nothing, just leave it blank. And the same for down here, or if you find nothing, leave it blank. Other pests, you can write them in here if you wish. And that's for the first block. Then you will be populated for all your blocks that you have, so it's duplicated. So you need to do exactly the same thing and put in whatever pests you find, etc. So once you've completed all your blocks pest monitoring, and this is, as I said, in our example here, we've only got the 2 blocks, but you may have way more than that. You then save and submit. Once you hit the save and submit button, it is automatically uploaded to the system and you cannot change it. You can save it and come back into this, but once you hit save and submit, as I'm doing now, it gives you that warning. You can no longer change it. It will be submitted. And there it is uploaded to your system. You can view it. And there it is there for the information that we have put in. So that's another enhancement to the system. So as I said, it's in real time. You can walk around and do this while you can upload the pest monitoring diary as you have actually done it, walking around your property. So that's it for the upgrades to the system. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. It'll go through to Mangoes. Mangoes will then submit it to the department. The department will then can allocate. In fact, I'll quickly, if we have time, just say you will never see this, but this is what the department looks like. You can see that they'll have one item for review. And then when they go into that, they can actually accredit your properties. They can actually schedule an audit and so on. So that's what the department does from their point of view. When they look at your registration, they will see all of your information that you have uploaded. So they will be able to do a desk audit of all this information. The purpose behind this is talking to the department. We're trying to save time and money for the growers. So that if the department auditors can review this prior to coming out to doing your physical audit, it should lessen the time that they're there and therefore lessen the value that you get charged for your audit. So that's basically a update of the system. And again, when you go to sign in, you can enter into your system and you can view your system anytime. You'll see any correspondence that's been sent to you. Should that come from Mango's or should it come from the department, it'll be there. You'll also receive a SMS to say that you have received documentation, and you can log in anytime and update your pest monitoring or other records. So I'll take any questions if are there any. Otherwise, we can refer them to Maureen.
Yes, thanks, Jeff. Any questions about the revamped online registration system? No, I think.
I'll stop share.
All right. Yes, thank you very much, Jeff. And yeah, we hope these upgrades will streamline the registration process this season. And obviously, you know, it's still work in progress. So if you have any feedback on the system, let me know, and we can, you know, try and improve it even further.
There's two things to remember, and that is that if you think you've completed your application and you see anything that comes up in red through the quality assurance checks, you'll need to go back into that section of the application to fix it, and then submit your application. As I said, the preferred method is PayPal, and you can enter all of your documentation at any time throughout the export season.
Yep. Thank you very much, Jeff. Well, we might move on to Tanya now from the Department of Ag. So Tanya will go through some of the resources available for growers and packing sheds as well. So
hello.
Tanya,
yeah, hello everyone. Not too many people, which is good for me. So can you see my screen now?
Yes. Oh, no. Yes, it's coming.
Yeah.
Yep, perfect.
All right, cool. So I haven't really done a lot of Zooming before, so
I'll let you know if there's any issues.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Tanya Brogden. I work in the horticulture export program in Canberra. However, I am based in Brisbane, and it is quite cold today, so it's a bit unusual for this time, I suppose. But anyways, so just a quick chat about what we do in general to help people, help exporters, help growers, all that kind of stuff. I'm also going to show, because I've got some, because I've worked out the technology, I'm able to show you the websites live rather than just screenshots. So we'll go through a couple of those as well, which might be helpful, and give you a bit of an update on the crop monitoring training redevelopment project that my colleagues are working on at the moment. So next one. So most of you would probably know that we help to develop new work plans each time a new or amend them. We're going through amendments with a few different ones at the moment for industry to help meet the protocol requirements. It's basically making the protocol much easier to read. We help organise trading partner audits and verification visits, provide technical assistance to the authorised officers, whether they're departmental or industry authorised officers. You're all the same as far as we're concerned. We work closely with the assessment and audit teams to try and just streamline everything, because we just want it to be easier for everybody. So we work really closely with those two big bodies of teams here in the department. We assess the impact on exports after fruit fly outbreaks and other pest incursions, which is probably not such a huge thing for mangoes, but at the moment down in the South Australian region of the Riverland, there's massive fruit fly outbreaks down at the moment. So we help coordinate different things with that as well. And on occasion where we can, we will try and assist with the detained consignments in overseas countries. Not always possible, but we try our best. So this is where so it's a step-by-step guide for exporting. So just click across and hopefully you can now see this as an actual web page. If you hop onto our website, so awe.gov.au, you can click through. It's a bit of a challenge, but you can click through agriculture and land, go to the plant health section here, and you will find yourself through to the plant and plant products section. This step-by-step guide for Australian exporters is a really good general overview of how to start exporting from Australia, and it gives you the different, I won't go into detail, but it just gives you bit of a checklist as to where you might be and what you might need to do depending on your product and where you're going. The website that Maureen really wanted you to have a look at is the Plant Export Operations Manual. And this is a really good tool. So it's basically the how-to guide for exporting. So the other one was more of an information of what you might need to do. This one's more of a how-to. So we have general information, establishments for all the registered establishments that we have with the department, with your treatment or pack house or whatever. And we've got this one here for accredited properties, which I think is the biggest one that you guys might work for. Work with guideline and audit of accredited properties. So they're the overarching bigger documents that we work towards. And then we have performance standards for crop monitors, farms, pack houses, and then the manual forms that Jeff Scott's program has simplified for us. So the big one for farms, so you can go into, there's the PDF or Word document for each one. We'll just go into the PDF for the farms, and it's basically a really good tool or a checklist for people who are doing exporting of any type of produce overseas for what we are looking for. So mangoes will be tailored to mangoes, but this is generally what we start with. And as you can see, there's a checklist item, performance standard, non-compliance rating, and then the examples of the evidence, which Maureen suggested is one of the things that is really helpful to you guys. So hop in there, have a look, and it's a really good tool as to see what we need, how long you might need to keep some records for, which generally speaking, it's 2 years. And then just bits and pieces, what might help get your farms up and running or your pack houses up and running with different things that we require. So you can go on there and have a look. The PEOM has all sorts of different things in there as well for the treatments, I think is a big one. If you ever need to have a quick look at your treatments. So there's the irradiation. So while you guys might not have the treatment facility there with you, it's also kind of good just to know what they are working towards and what happens with your produce and things like that. And then of course the vapor heat treatment. The PEOM is also good for documentation. So finding out all our different requirements for documentation. And the other one, probably the big one, not big one, but just good to know, is the fees and charges that's associated with what we do. Click into, I've opened up the tab so it was easier for me, the menu of importing country requirements, or Micor, which is where you can go to check out what the importing country conditions are. And if you have a password, you can actually then access, oh, this is interesting. My Wi-Fi might be playing up. So you can go in there and check out what the importing country requirements are for your produce going out to all the different markets, whether they're protocol or non-protocol. For the protocol ones, you can then pop into the password protected section to see what the protocols are. If you need any help with that, just give us a bell, send us an email, and we can walk you through it as soon as it's somehow locked out. So they're the main sites that we all work to in the department. And we've gone through a couple of those. So as I said, the Plant Export Operations Manual is really good for the farms, pack houses, registered establishment exporters, treatment facilities, crop monitors, and authorised officers. So it's got a lot of information in there. It gives you instructional material, the charging guidelines, application forms in case systems die, which we hope they never do because that won't be fun. Auditing requirements and treatment guidelines. So it's really a one-stop shop for a lot of the information that the department has. Again, just in case it didn't work, I had a few slides in there to show you. And then when I spoke about the Micor, you can access. So this is where you should technically go, is in the the plant section, big red arrow. And then it's had a bit of a revamp in the last couple of years, and it's a lot easier to use than what it used to be. So it's really good to just pop in there, have a look at some random ones. Crop monitor training, as I started off with saying, and Maureen's probably let you know, is that we've got a new redevelopment project undergoing at the moment. As you know, crop monitors must complete the online training each year. It's currently hosted by Tocal College. However, we are working with a training developer to update, modernize and restructure the course content and bring the training in-house back to the department. For the upcoming season, we still need you to go through Tocal because it's not going to be quite ready for you just yet. But the new training will be available for the 2023-2024 season. It's a bit hard to think of. So there will be one core module that all crop monitors will need to complete, and it will be generic. So all the generic information that you need to know to be a crop monitor. Importing country requirements, grower responsibilities, crop monitoring practices, record keeping, farm biosecurity, workplace health and safety on farms. In addition to the core module, crop monitors will also need to complete commodity specific modules, which will cover the pests and diseases that are specific to the commodities they are monitoring for, which is handy. It's not going to be generic for you guys anymore. Just jump in and just let you know as well, and I don't know a lot of the detail about this, but it was just a note from my assistant director regarding Japan. I have advised that they are keen to finalise the progress on the new market access request for additional varieties and the removal of the pre-clearance for mangoes, with the draft new work plan to be finalised, but at the next BILAT, which will be later in the year, so Japan's autumn. Japan will still need to go through their 3 to 4 month legislative process. So we'll doubt we'll have pre-clearance removed for the upcoming season. And the department will then work out with Japan what this means in terms of inviting inspectors or having ongoing interim arrangements for this season. Just thought I'd let you all know that. If you have any questions relating to that, just give us a call or contact us on the horticulture exports at awe.gov.au, and we'll try our best to update you. We'll keep you informed. So that's me. If anyone's got any questions, yell out.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Any question for Tanya? No, well, I just wanted to also let you know that there is a direct link to the PEOM and Micor onto the Australian Mangoes website, so you can access those resources directly from our website, and I really encourage you to go and have a look there. Yeah, they're really great checklists to prepare for audit, so go and have a look. Well, is there any questions, I guess, overall about the export? Joe and Sam or Annette, are you all good? Okay, well, if there's no questions, we'll end the webinar now. I just wanted to thank Tanya and Jeff for presenting today. And thank you very much to everyone for attending. And if you have any questions about where to find information or any issues with the online registration systems, please give me a call or send me an email. Right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maureen.
Bye.